Hi, everybody. This is Gruenke, founder of the Balanced Runner System. I've been helping runners from beginner to Olympian improve their form and performance since 2003. And this is my next stuck-at-home running form tip from my living room to yours, helping you use this time as an opportunity to become a better runner. So in the previous video, I showed you the right way and the wrong way to swing your arms, but why does this even matter? And the answer is simple. It's because your arm swing doesn't happen in isolation. It's not just one thing, one of a series of disconnected things that your body does in running, and all of which are supposed to be right for their own separate reasons. This is a real frustration I have with most running form advice, is that actually it treats your running form as a set of separate things instead of looking at running as a single whole body action, all the parts of which feed into each other. And in fact, you could keep redefining what are the different parts. So I've picked out the ones over the years, the 6 that I find are the most powerful to think about and affect each other most positively, to pull your whole body into a coordination pattern that works really well for distance running. But it could have been other ones. I do talk about other things sometimes. So let's now look at your arm swing through this perspective. What effect does it have on the rest of your running form? We're going to go through the things that I've talked about so far in this Stuck at Home series. All right, so how does your arm swing affect your lean? So we talked in the first 4 videos about how important a forward lean is when you run. And your arm swing can affect your lean in 2 ways. So you're always having to balance yourself in gravity, like all the time, except if you run in space, but actually you can't run in space because there's no gravity. So it's all about gravity. And Leroy is just Leroy. Ladies and gentlemen, your Leroy sighting for the day. So you have to balance your overall upper body so that you don't fall over, which means every time you make an adjustment with your arms, the rest of you has to respond to keep yourself balanced. Otherwise, you fall over, right? So the farther away from of course, your hands are never here together. It's always here or here, but for convenience, because this is your moment in your arm swing that most profoundly affects your lean, is when the hand is up. So we're going to just have both hands together. So when you when you swing your hands farther from your heart, so all I'm doing is relaxing my body and moving my hands farther away from me. And if I don't prevent it, that makes me come a little more upright. Okay. And that's exactly what happens in running. So the farther out in front of you your hands are in your arm swing, the more upright you'll run. Because again, you're counterbalancing, right? So this is a really important way to help yourself lean well. It's if you're not leaning well, you go back to the leaning videos. There's other troubleshooting that you need to do, but this is one possibility. Also, if you do that thing of pulling your shoulders back, which people tell you to do, so you don't close your chest and so you can breathe well. Again, that's not how breathing actually works, but anyway, that's got to be another video. If you do that, well, look, watch my hands when I pull my shoulders back. I'm just relaxing my hands and arms, and I'm pulling my shoulders back and release. So without intending to move my hands at all, do you see how they're moving apart? So that actually prevents you from letting your hand go to the midline, which, as we discussed yesterday, is essential. And also pulls you upright, right? And so bye-bye lean. And then also, as you see my hands come apart, they tend to also move forward in space a little bit. So all those things could be happening. Plus, it feels absolutely wretched in the upper back, which is reason enough not to do it. So your core, my notes are over there. I'm pointing so you know what I'm talking about. So your core, how do your arms affect your core action? Arms are pendulums, like we discussed yesterday, and longer pendulums swing slower and create more drag. So for your core action, the appropriate movement that needs to happen in your core when you run, the longer your arms are, right? It's like that, right? If I do a walking version, but the longer your arms are, the more drag there is on that movement. And I have to dramatically increase. Actually, when I do it like this, I don't even feel any work in my obliques. I mean, it's very natural. When I do it like this, suddenly it's work. There's drag. Now, don't confuse this with walking, because I was doing a larger core action that would resemble what you're doing in running at that moment. Walking, the same core action exists, but it's not, it plays out a little bit differently, and we do keep our arms straight but relaxed for walking, unless you want to speed walk, and that's all about the pendulum principle again. So your legs are never going to go faster than your arms. So if you want a really quick turnover when you walk, if you're speed walking and trying to win a race, then you better bend your elbows so that you don't slow your legs down so that your arms can swing fast enough, right? So people, you see speed walkers, fitness walkers, bend their elbows. Normal walking, arms are straight. Running, you get drag, and the lower your arms are, the more drag there is on your torso, the harder it is to have an easy core, have a core action at all. Yeah, there was a second point and it's on, but it'll come back. All right, so hands close to heart. Again, the shorter the pendulum, the easier your core action is going to be. And again, the arms can go down and up. I could probably run right here. All right. Yeah, I can run. Let's try that like this. Oh, the work. Actually, I feel that really in my rectus abdominis. There. Okay. Supple legs. Oh, I'm sorry. Also, the other way that your arm swing can affect your core action is, again, if you make this exceptionally poor choice to pull your shoulders back, then instead of your shoulders turning is part of your core action. But if you pull, which means one is going back while one is going forward and your rib cage is turning. But if you pull them both back at the same time, then then one of them can't go forward. So it suddenly becomes much more difficult to turn your upper body. And your core action is no longer very good. It's not good enough to help your performance. It's going to actually, then you're going to feel increased impact, slower, heavier, and tense. Supple legs. How does your arm swing impact whether your knee is bent and your leg is relaxed at foot strike, like that, versus straight and on the heel? Well, the strongest effects are indirect effects. So anytime that you reduce your lean, you're more likely to excessively overstride and land on your heel. And anytime that you interfere with your core action, you're more likely to excessively overstride and land on your heel, because your legs start just working like this and you kind of have to reach your leg out in front like that. So bent elbows are part of the regulatory mechanism that balances tonus in your flexor muscles and your extensor muscles in your body and helps you land with a supple leg. Sweetheart. Midstance. How does your arm swing affect your midstance alignment? So we've talked about how in midstance, your hip joint needs to be right over your ankle joint. I'll put so that I don't have to get miles away. Oh, confession time. I bought a mic to wear, and I always get to this point in the video and realize, I didn't put my mic on again today. Tomorrow, I promise. Hold me to that. So Mid-stance alignment, you want your hip joint right over your ankle joint in mid-stance. So what the heck does your arm swing have to do with that? Well, again, if your hands are out in front, look, right now I really do have to balance myself, right? I'm on one foot, hands close to heart. Or let me see, it would be like this, probably. If I move them away from my heart, you can watch my body move backwards. And when I get to about here, my quads start to work a lot. When I'm here, I feel all the work in my glutes. Or like 85%. When I go here, you see not only is my upper body moving back, but my pelvis is moving back until it is behind my ankle, and then suddenly it's my quads. They kick right in. Glutes are actually feeling a little tired at the moment, but the quads kick right in, and that's where a whole lot of stuff goes wrong, right? That's where you start overusing your quads, you stop being able to properly use your glutes, your forward lean is interfered with, you're really at risk for irritating your knees, runner's knee, because at this moment right now, I just have 100% of my body weight on my left foot. But if I were running and I come into this position down from the air, which is how you come into this position in running, I would have 2.5 times my body weight pressing down because of the landing or more. And my quads would have to deal with that. Now your glutes can deal with that. Your quads dealing with that can pull on the patellar tendon and irritate the kneecap. And I think actually that's more the mechanism for runner's knee than this. But a person who overstrides and lands with a straight, or excessively overstrides and lands with a straight knee on the back of the heel is also a person whose pelvis is behind their hip joint in mid-stance. The dysfunction kind of carries on through the gait cycle. So, and in this example, that can all just be caused by your hands, by you swinging your arms like this when you run, instead of like this. Crazy, huh? And again, same thing goes for if you pull your shoulders back. And I have actually had clients, when I have my one-to-one clients online, they send me videos. And I have actually had clients where, with careful analysis, it was clear the hip joint was over their ankle joint in mid-stance, but because they were pulling their shoulder blades back and arching their back a little, I'm being one runner in particular right now, her chest was lifted so much that on balance, her weight was too far back, even though the hip joint was in the right place. And so again, she was a runner, world-class runner. Quads were always where she felt her fatigue. And, she did tons of strength training for her glutes, but never seemed to actually use that strength for running. So, and we changed a bunch of things, and we got her core action working well, but critical to making that happen and to getting her a forward lean and into a place where her glutes were called upon to be used, critical was letting go of this. So I'm not advocating slouching again, but shoulders rest under the ears. The shoulder girdle is the collarbone and the shoulder blade, and the shoulders rest underneath the ears, not behind them. You don't want to lift a chest for running. You don't want a sunken chest either, but you want a happy medium. Okay? On a forward angle. There you go. So those are 4 critical elements of your running form that are profoundly impacted by making errors with your arm swing. So I hope that I've convinced you that your arm swing is really important. Again, what it should be, bring your hands close to your heart. So that means heart height. That also means distance from your chest, not out here, but here. Okay? It also means that your elbows will have to stick out a bit, because otherwise you have to bend your wrist, and no one really advocates that. I don't think I need to tell you that's not a good idea. So, though I should do a video on that. Hands and running are totally fascinating. So basically your arm swing is going to trace the line of your ribs, or it'll appear in small ovals. If you just follow my hand, you'll see it's like a train. So this, and your hands can go higher. They should not, the peak of your forward swing should not be any lower than heart height under any circumstances. There you go. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please hit like so YouTube knows that it's a good video, and we'll share it with other runners who need this information. Please share it with your running buddies as well. Please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a video. And please check out all the great resources I have for you on balancedrunner.com, and even in the description below. I'll put a free resource in there that will help you work on all of this. So I will see you tomorrow. Take care.